Hi, I'm Suleiman from Tangerine Tail Studios, and I'm here to talk about the latest film project from our team, Curveball. Created as part of the DC 48-hour film project, this film was written, shot, and edited all within the span of, 48 hours. But before we could do any of the writing, we had to get our two genres, film noir and romantic comedy, a required line of dialogue, a required prop, and a required character. So once we got those, we met up with a writing team which consisted of me, Johnny, Ryan, and a special guest, Gabrielle D'Amico. Gabrielle was my faculty mentor during my MFA program, so it was great being able to work with her again. So the four of us sat down and we worked initially on drafting up some ideas for rom-com because that's what we thought we were going to work with. But it turns out with Ryan's idea of a sort of weekend getaway or just a happy family interrupted by a dangerous stranger coming to town, I was more drawn to that than I initially thought I was. And that's why we ended up going with film noir. So with that kind of storyline in mind, we got to actually writing the script. Since we knew where we were shooting, we knew what areas we had access to and what areas we wanted to include in the story. We ended up cutting a few of those to keep filming setups to a minimum and keep things fairly smooth, which I think worked out well. A big lesson from my previous projects, including last October's 48, was keeping things a little simpler. So fewer camera setups, fewer scenes, fewer locations. And so with those lessons in mind, we took that to heart with writing this project as well as filming it. But more on that later. Alright, script in hand, we woke up bright and early Saturday morning and headed to set. Patrick, one of our actors and producers, was nice enough to let us use his home and his surrounding property for the location for this shoot. That morning, Ryan created a rough draft for a shot list and we sat down and honed that a little bit, cutting a few ideas, adding a few more, trying to do some more brainstorming as the morning went on. Before long, Johnny broke off to do some table reads with our actors, Jeffrey, Ariel, and Patrick, and they did a few different takes, a few different ideas, got those character motivations in there, and they were pretty prepared for what was to come. While Ryan and our assistant camera worked on setting up the gear and some of the lighting, we worked on doing some blocking for our first scene. So we had some logistics to figure out, such as where does the bad guy come from, how does he not drop his gun when he's threatening somebody.
What do you think you're doing? Dropping the gun. But I never.
And other small details like that. In terms of the rest of the crew, we had two assistant directors, Kyla and Roshni. We had a PA who captured all of this awesome behind the scenes footage that you're seeing on screen now, Jessica, Anthony on sound duties. In terms of the camera gear that we used, we shot much of the film on Ryan's Sony FX3 using a bit of an experimental setup with these Sirui Nightwalker lenses. Now what's special about these lenses is that they're meant for a different type of camera sensor than the one that we were using. But I think the picture came out well, has a kind of a unique touch to it that I'm really happy with. And I'm definitely going to use these going forward. Since we mostly shot outside, we were able to use natural light, which allowed us to have fewer lighting setups and save a lot of time. For a single interior scene, we used one key light and then a few of these smaller aperture infinity bar lights that I'm actually using now. They're small, battery powered, and they allow you to just kind of hold them handheld, which is great for a 48 when you really want to save time rather than lugging around tons of lighting gear. For sound, Anthony used Ryan's sound pack, giving each actor a lav mic and then using a combination of lav mics and a boom mic for our interior scene. A shot Ryan really wanted to include was kind of a dirt POV shot as our character Patrick digs up his secrets. So he had the camera down low as Patrick took a shovel full of dirt, kind of hovered it over before scooping it behind him.
Shovel full of dirt.
And Jeff, you're not gonna pour any dirt.
Yeah.
You're just gonna get it close to here and then pull it up and away. You understand?
Yes, sir.
It was a little harrowing having a giant chunk of metal with dirt hovering over very expensive camera equipment and a new set of lenses, but the shot looks great and I'm really happy with how it turned out, so anything for art, right? With all the footage captured, we managed to wrap about an hour and a half to 2 hours ahead of schedule, which is a first for any of my productions. So like I mentioned, we tried to take a lot of the lessons learned from our last 48, but also from my projects generally, and apply them to this project in particular. All in all, I'd say the script was about 2/3 shorter than our October 48, and I think we had roughly 1/3 as many shots in our shot list, so a lot fewer moving pieces kept things moving smoothly. With filming complete, our editor Ro got to putting it all together. They had arrived earlier that day on Saturday, and we were able to do a couple of data transfers throughout the day, which again kept things moving smoothly. On Sunday, the bulk of the edits took place, and Ro was able to give us a few rough cuts, we gave some feedback, and then ultimately they were able to put it all together, deliver it with 2 minutes to spare, and we were done with another 48-hour film project. Well, after the paperwork. Lots of paperwork. Lots and lots of paperwork. Alright, so another 48-hour film project done, and it's on to the next project. Thanks for watching. This is Tangerine Tail Studios' mascot. There we go. Say hi, Tangerine. So,